The Nano 2 up until now was just limited to gimbals and cameras, but now they're introducing an adapter for the DJI Pocket 3. And what is amazing about this is that you can now literally control every parameter on the DJI Pocket 3 within the Nano 2 slider. So you can keyframe movements, you can do all sorts of motion control shots that up until now were limited to high-end cameras. They've managed to get filming at 4K, but it requires a bit of a workaround. The first thing that you need to be aware of is that you need to connect the DJI Pocket 3 adapter to the Pocket 3 via the USB-C, and then set the DJI Pocket 3 on webcam, okay? Not on the standard camera mode, but it needs to be on the webcam mode. And then what I recommend that you do is that you go onto the app. When you install the firmware upgrade, you're gonna see that it's got integration with the DJI Pocket 3. And once you go onto the app itself, you operate the slider the same way that you would do with a traditional gimbal and a camera. You set your A and B points and make sure that for the tilting you press the manual marking, because that's telling the slider that you are going to be doing this manually yourself and not through the control units within the app itself. And then you set your panning, tilting, whatever position that you want to be in, and then that's it. This is incredible. And I'm going to be filming a Spec commercial for Oreo biscuits, and I'm gonna show you what an amazing range of shots you can do with this combination. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I have a storyboard. So the shot that I have is it's a kind of a close-up of an Oreo, okay, and the opening. And the effect that we want to get is obviously we want to get a really moody effect. And the key here is to make sure that as the Pocket 3 exposed to this main light, everything around is gonna be basically pitch black, and we're gonna get some really cool shots. And obviously the slide is gonna be doing a slide tracking. It's really nice now that the Pocket 3 can just tilt up a little bit as you track in, because that's not something that you could do before. Now we're gonna have the slider slightly slanted. And hopefully this is gonna work as the gimbal, well, as the camera moves sideways, we're gonna have Oreos coming onto the frame. And theoretically, this is millimetric accuracy. So every single shot as the slider travels is exactly the same. And we can mix this in post into a single one that looks really nice, having different cookies coming or rolling at different speeds. And you can do this now with this slider and a DJI Pocket 3. And look at this small setup that I have here. I have some auto pulse in a crossbar configuration, a small xenon light, and a couple of other lights, and that's it. You're gonna get this amazing footage in ways that you couldn't even imagine it was possible only a few years ago. We've done that shot, but I'm not 100% sure that it's gonna look as good as I thought it was gonna be, mostly because as the biscuits or the cookies roll onto the camera or towards the camera, some of them cross, and I'm just gonna record a backup shot, which is a profile shot of having the cookies or the biscuits rolling towards the camera. So now we're gonna do a vertical shot where we mount the slider upside down. We're gonna be able to track as the milk goes into the glass. There you are. That's solid. And let's see whether that actually looks as good as I think it's gonna look, because there is a big difference in light between what you have in mind and what you end up doing. Who needs a studio with a robotic arm when you have an iFootage slider and a DJI Pocket 3? Come on, look at that. Oh, this is so cool. One thing that is really important that we just worked out and is driving us crazy is that any keyframes that you think you are setting up do not work unless you are on webcam. Okay, so if you have the Pocket 3 on a standard camera and you go to your start and end point, it's not going to happen. And only when you plug the USB-C and you go into webcam mode, you can then see those keyframes. It would be nice if we would get some kind of notification on the screen saying that we are not on webcam, so that you don't end up in the middle of the stress of doing a job, doing all your setup, and then you realize that you are not in webcam mode. But hopefully this is something that they can do in a firmware upgrade. And if you want to know how to shoot content like this with a DJI Pocket 3, how to make your footage look professional, I have an entire course dedicated just to the DJI Pocket 3. I'll leave a link in the video description, and it's currently on a discount rate, so that if you ever wanted to record amazing looking footage with your DJI Pocket 3, I think this is the right opportunity. You are definitely going to be able to do shots like this, because we not only show you the basics, but we're going to advanced techniques using a slider, lighting, and so on. Let's hopefully watch the footage. Damn it, it's not linking! Ah! So it's linking now. Oh, we got it. I think we're gonna do it one more, but the end shot is gonna be slightly looking up, not so much flat. And I have to give credit to my cameraman.
That's what I suggested.
I did not listen, and here I am wasting 20 minutes of our very narrow filming time. So anyhow, that's good. We put this away now, and we put this there. Look at that. The next shot is after I clear all of this, because we got milk everywhere, is the breaking up of the cookies. This whole idea is not so much about getting a beautiful Oreo commercial with everything popping and the colors, but to sort of recreate that feeling when you were a kid and you try to, isn't that amazing? That feeling is what I'm trying to recreate, and hopefully we can get that on camera. What is the storyboard? We got the shot eventually that we want, and now we're gonna move the slider down at ground level. What I love about this setup, this slider, is that it's so tiny and so lightweight. Normally for something like this, you would need some really heavy duty equipment, and this is so lightweight. I mean, look, you can hold it with one hand. No big gimbals, no big cameras. This is really nice. So the shot that we're gonna do now is literally just a straight tracking sideways, and eventually we're gonna do a tracking when I finally am able to split the cookie without breaking. I just broke it. So many biscuits. So hopefully we're gonna get this on camera at the right time, with the right lighting, and at the right speed, and in a very short amount of time, because we are running late. So let's crack on and let's see how we get on with this. So the fact that you can just have a clamp literally attached to a stand and it's sturdy enough to keep it safe, this is amazing. And I'm sure there are better ways to do this, and ideally I would want to clamp it here with a long arm, and it's gonna be a lot more secure. And yes, I'll give you that, I might have to end up doing that, but sometimes you just want to do a shot on the spur of the moment, and the fact that you can do this so quickly is amazing.
Especially if you're a one-man band.
Especially if you're a one-man band, you are 100% right there. Okay, so the shot now is going to be starting from the top, going down as I crack and break the cookie. When you are on a webcam mode, you don't have access to the Mimo app, so you have no way of previewing the shots, and you have to unplug the Pocket 3 from the USB-C and then go into the app, and it's just too cumbersome. Would be really great if you can have a preview of what you shot, because sometimes the LCD might show that the footage is overexposed, but when you watch it on the actual phone, it's totally fine. And that 2, 3, 5 minute delay that you have can literally break the pace of filming, and it's an absolute pain. Okay, so we're gonna do now the final pack shot or hero shot, so that we can then end this sort of a Spec commercial in a really nice way. So you let me know what you think. We're gonna put a little bit of creative editing, sound effects, and this is how it looks. And I really hope that you found this video interesting, that you got something positive out of it. If you did, like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next one.